Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Ace Attorney Investigations. I'm your host Kayla Higatari, and today we are going to do the last middle part of Turnabout Ablaze. So let's get into it. Okay, now we're getting into it. From the start. March 14th, 11:33 p.m. Feature Neutralis lobby. Wow, they're still up. That's late night. Agent Lang. Lang Z says, little cubs never do they know the real fury of the elder wolves. These quotes are definitely becoming increasingly difficult to decipher. And what does that mean? It means that you'll never really know how angry I can get. Mr. Prosecutor. The counterfeit bills made with the Babalese ink. They were all of Zhangfa denominations. Yes, so I heard from Miss Von Karma. But we don't know where the play money has gone. They must not have figured out that it was all burned yet. Ever since those things showed up in circulation, my country's economy has taken a big hit. Zhangfa is in financial chaos as we speak. Because we can't tell the difference between our own bills and the fakes. But it's not just the money, the citizens are also worried. I've staked the honor of the House of Lang on this. And I've come to this land to capture the mastermind behind this whole mess. I investigated how the bills were made and how the ink was smuggled into Zhangfa. And I pursued the smuggling ring all the way here. But tonight, this is where the final chapter was written. Despite my frantic efforts to chase the smuggler down, someone got to him first. And now I'm called to return home without a single answer. Agent Lang, Don't start. It's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault, Mr. Prosecutor. Ambassador Elba, I'm sorry for all the trouble tonight. Oh, no, it is I who should apologize. It was all because I was not strong enough. If only I was able to think of a better solution. Corcus, you fool! Curse your empty brain! You're being too hard on yourself, Ambassador. I take full responsibility for tonight. End of story. Sheena, let's go. Time to return to our den. Yes. I don't like to admit it, but there's not much else for us to do but to go home as well. Agent Lang. Hold it! You, Wolfman! And the secretary lady, hold it! Objection, pal! Detective Gumshoe. Have you got the results of the handwriting analysis already? Yup. And that note was definitely written by Mr. Cochin, sir. Just as I thought. Good work, detective. Note updated. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. How long do you intend to hold us up for? Sorry to have made you wait, but I believe that now everyone is finally here. Agent Sheena, I'd like to ask you something if you don't mind. Yes? How exactly did you fail to see the Yatagarasu? when you were in the neighboring room to where Mr. Cochran was killed. I'd like you to explain that to us. What? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. What are you doing asking her about something she didn't see? Agent Lang hasn't touched the Babal investigation at all. So I suppose I will need to explain a few things to him first. Miles Edgeworth, I can't even begin to imagine what's going on in that head of yours. The only thing going on in my head is the pursuit of the truth. Oh? It sounds like you have some sort of plan. Very well, I'll supervise you until the end. Is she seriously going to treat me as a subordinate for the rest of the day? Of course she is. You're not trying to pick a fight with my subordinate on some flimsy guess, are you? I'm not trying to pick a fight, and the evidence is hardly flimsy, as you will see. Ha! I should have known that you and I are destined to fight it out to the very end. It would appear that way. Well, I'll prove her innocent, so let's see what you've got, Prosecutor Edgeworth. With pleasure. For my opening argument, I'll discuss the Yatagarasu that appeared in Babal, and establish exactly who it was that Kay saw. Agent Lang, I assume you've been briefed on Kay's testimony. You mean the suspicious person in a coat that she saw? Yeah, I've been briefed on it. That's right. That person is one of the keys to solving this case. The person who pretended to be the Yatagarasu. Pretended? And what do you mean by that? I'll get to that in a second, but first, I want to review what this person Kay saw did. Okay, if you could please explain what the person you were chasing did for us. Okay, you got it! I first spotted the suspicious person near the open-air stage on the Babali's side. I called out to the person, but as soon as I did, that person just ran off. I thought it was rather suspicious, so I immediately gave chase. For the sake of argument, let's call this suspicious person the Yatagarasu. Now, please tell us what happened when you chased the Yatagarasu up to the third floor. Can do. I chased the Yatagarasu all the way up to the third floor of the Babali's embassy. It was a pretty straight chase down the hallway until the sudden turn. The Yatagarasu disappeared around the corner, so I did my best to catch up. When I turned the corner, I saw the Yatagarasu run into Mr. Cochran's office. I gave chase and ran into the room. But when I entered the room, it was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. I felt something on the ground next to my foot, so I turned on the light, but then... Ah! Who's there? By the time I had turned on the lights, the Yatagarasu had disappeared. When Kay entered the room, the person she was chasing was already gone. Why do you suppose that was, Agent Lang? What do you mean, why do I suppose? Isn't it obvious? The person slipped out through the door behind the girl under the cover of darkness. Sorry, but I know for a fact that the person didn't escape through that door. Oh, and how do you know that with such a certainty? That's easy. If the Yatagarasu had left through that door, they would have run right into this person. Your secretary, of course. Your answer is Sheena? Yes, because let's consider what would have happened if the Yatagarasu had used the door. When Kay screamed upon discovering Mr. Kochin's body, the Yatagarasu would have run right into Agent Sheena, who was in the next room over. Agent Sheena, would you mind telling us if you saw the suspicious person in question? No, I didn't see anyone. You see? Therefore, the Yatagarasu could not have used the... It just means that the creep slipped out before Sheena made it into the hallway. I doubt that, as there was another person in that hallway, a certain detective. Detective Gumshoe, where were you exactly at that time? Me, sir? Well, when I heard Kay scream, I ran towards Mr. Kochin's office from the opposite direction of Agent Sheena, sir. So, Agent Lang, can you explain how someone could have eluded both of them? Even you must concede that under these circumstances, the door was not a viable route. Way to go, Mr. Edgeworth! You nailed him with just an explanation of what happened. Yes, I've eliminated one of the possible escape routes from that room. But this is far from over. I need to make Agent Lang aware as well. If you had another possible escape route, the Yatagarasu could have taken. I get it. So that's what you were trying to show me. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Let me guess. This is what you're trying to say, right? Because the door was not a viable escape route, then there must have been another way out. Precisely. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time to bust out with our revolving fireplace wall explanation, right? No, not quite yet. Huh? But why? I thought this would be the perfect time. The revolving wall on the Babali's side is known only to a few people. And if we use this information unwisely, the truth may escape us in the end. What's with all the whispering over there? Scared all figured out your tactics? Nothing of the sort, Agent Lang. Come, let's continue where we left off. What smug, haughty attitude of yours? You really rubbed me the wrong way, you know that? Well, no matter. I figured you out already anyway. The only other escape route, besides the door, is the room's lone window. And since an eerie picture of said escape route exists, are you saying that this photo captures the moment of the Yatagarasu's escape? I guess Detective Bad must have filled him in on this photo. I have to admit that at first I thought the window to be a possible escape route as well. However, I now know that to be impossible. Now, I realize you may not know this, but humans can't fly. Of course I know that. That's bloody common sense. Besides, I never said I thought that photo to be of the Yatagarasu's escape route. I suppose not. Alright then, explain yourself. The shadow in the photo is not the Yatagarasu that Kay was chasing after. You can say whatever you'd like in whatever language you want. But there's only one language I really understand, the language of evidence. Very well then. I present to you proof that the person Kay saw is not the same as the one in this photo. What proof would that be? This is a fire for now. I want to get it wrong. This piece of evidence proves that the shadow in the photo is not the person Kay saw. Oh, is that right? What do you think little miss saw? Huh? Well, Gummy, what do you think? Me? Miss Von Karma, what do you think, sir? I don't think anything, because I already know that evidence proves absolutely nothing. Looks like you've got immunity on your hands, Mr. Prosecutor. Ugh. The last thing I needed was him laughing at my face. I need to think back to what Detective Bad told me about when this photo was taken. Okay. Maybe I need to use the fires. There we go. Let me explain to you precisely why the shadow in the photo is not the Yatagarasu Kay saw. Kay spotted the Yatagarasu heading for the 3rd floor during the 2nd fire. However, the photo in question was taken just after the 1st fire. Yeah, way to go! That's twice you've bit him in the butt now. We're not done yet. You still have to explain what that shadow is. And how the Yatagarasu escaped. I don't suppose you can answer both, can you? Regarding the photo, I admit that we don't understand what it means quite yet. Ha! As I thought. However, the Yatagarasu's escape route, now that I can answer. You can? Well then, Mr. Prosecutor, go on, enlighten me. Even if I explain it, you'll try to find some flaws with what I have to say. You were busy heading up the Alabastrian investigation, correct? In that case, I doubt you'd have much knowledge about the Bali's side of the case. So wouldn't it be best if the lead on that side, Agent Sheena, explained in my stead? Sheena is my subordinate. If I don't stick up for her, how can I look her in the eyes and call myself her boss? Lang, it's all right. I can take care of him. Sheena, you've shielded me a lot as my boss. But it's time for me to prove my worth. All right. If you're okay with it, then you have my support. Finally, it's down to just Agent Sheena and myself. This is where the battle really begins. Now then, what is it you'd like to ask? Let's see. Why don't we start with your movements inside the Babali's embassy? During the first Babali's fire, I assisted in putting out the fire. During the second fire, I was searching for the Yatagarasu that had appeared in Babal. While I was searching, I heard a scream coming from the next room over. Although I was in the next room, I was unable to catch a glimpse of the Yatagarasu. To be honest, I'm actually very skeptical that the girl's Yatagarasu even exists. And that is all I have to say. But I'm not lying. When I say I saw this suspicious person run into Mr. Cochin's office. Like I said earlier, I have no intention of retracting my testimony. Good. Just to confirm, did you have a partner when you were on your investigation? No, I moved alone. In that case, you have no one to corroborate your alibi. Is that correct? Are you calling her suspicious because she was in a room by herself? How pathetic. And it wasn't when Agent Sheena tried to arrest Kate under the same rationale. And how about when you accused Larry because he was the weapon's owner? Grr. Not that it's unexpected for that useless lump to get into such a situation. Although I suppose it's never a good idea to let mistakes go uncorrected. I'll make no excuse for what I did in that situation. Then you should apologize right now for making Kay out to be the killer, pal. I'm sorry. Sheena, apologize. I'm sorry. It's really okay. I mean, I'm not under suspicion anymore. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, I never doubted you. Not for 1 second. And the same goes for me. I believe in Sheena. Then let's put that to the test and see if she is really worthy of your trust. This promises to be interesting. Rebuttal! Press everything. So you helped with the fire extinguishing effort. I was in charge of the police on the Babali's side, so I helped them with their work. Police doing the job of firemen. You really know how to work people. She sure does. That's because she's one awesome woman who knows how to manage. I guess so. She's always bringing you a business card or a scroll at just the right time. To prepare everything before I'm ordered to. That is the definition of a secretary. She kind of seems more capable than Agent Lang, doesn't she? At the very least, she's certainly more capable than you, Detective. Ugh! Kinda had a feeling you were gonna say that, sir. She has more than just a capable secretary, you know. Sheena, tell them what other things you're good at. All right. By the second fire, you mean the one that consumed the third floor of Babal, correct? Yes, that was when the suspicious person was spotted in Babal. Then you were after the same person in the long coat that I was after. Hold it. There is no proof that the suspicious person was really the Yatagarasu, because no one was able to get a good look at the person's face. By the way, how was your team's investigation? In order to extinguish the fire, water was pumped into the third floor via the windows. So the majority of the investigators conducted their searches on other floors. Maybe they did, but there was one person who was wandering around, lost on the third floor. When the fire was pretty much out, I moved to investigate the third floor. And you did that alone? Yes. So you were in the room next to Mr. Cochin's office. I already told you I was earlier, as I was examining the neighboring room. I heard the girl's shrill scream. Upon hearing her, I immediately ran towards Mr. Cochin's office. Wherein you proceeded to arrest her, as I recall. Yes, I did. But she was totally innocent, pal. I thought we had already cleared that up. And I thought I had already apologized for my behavior. Now, if the tenacious detective would be so kind as to be quiet. Ugh! Have to agree. Right now is not the time to take issue with that. Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. But what I do take issue with is the fact that you didn't see the Yatagarasu, Agent Sheena. The prosecutors of this country are all so strange.
Hold it!
You were unable to catch even a glimpse, despite being in the next room. Is that true? I really hate to repeat myself. I'm sorry for inconveniencing you. However, I simply wish to make sure that you were not misremembering something. We wouldn't want you to be accused of lying later on, would we? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Are you calling Sheena's testimony a lie? Agent Lang, I'm talking with Agent Sheena right now. So I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't interrupt us with superficious comments. Grrr. Grrr. Aww, I feel kind of bad for him. I understand his pain at watching one of his subordinates being accused. However, I cannot turn my eyes from the truth. Lang, I'm alright. And as for you, I think you should be focusing your doubts on that girl rather than me. And why is that?
Hold it!
Are you throwing Kay's words into doubt again? Well, she does claim to be the Yatagarasu, right? And she did try to chase down the Yatagarasu despite being just an average citizen. Actually, she came up here with the goal of capturing the fake Yatagarasu. That's right, which is why I would never be about and lie about anything related to the Yatagarasu. I suppose you have proof of that somewhere? Not quite, but even without any, I have people who believe in me, and that's enough. I see. Kay's testimony is without flaw, but as for yours, let's just say that I find your testimony to be a bit suspicious. There seems to be a very large flaw in her testimony. Oh? Then why don't you show her using what we found out with Little Thief? I will in due time. The escape route of the Yatagarasu that Kay was in pursuit of. If it turns out that it really does lead right to Agent Sheena, then who is it that she is keeping from us right now? Alrighty. Where's the part about the next room? Here it is. Let's use that fireplace. Being in the room next to Mr. Cochin's office is a problem with your testimony. Mr. Prosecutor, I don't see what problem you're talking about at all. Agent Lang, do you recall the secret we discovered about the Bastion office fireplace? Huh? Oh, you mean how it connects the office with the room next door? What about it? Well, Alabast isn't the only country with secret connecting fireplaces. What? The fireplace in Mr. Cochin's office holds the exact same secret. What? The Yatagarasu didn't escape through the door to the room or the window. The escape route was through the revolving fireplace wall and into the next room over. Now do you see? If the Yatagarasu had escaped into the next room, then the thief would have run straight into Agent Sheena. Meaning that it's impossible for her to have missed the Yatagarasu. But what is the meaning of this, Miles? Well, would you care to explain, Agent Sheena, how you managed to completely miss the fleeing Yatagarasu, or shall I? Your claim that you were in the next room was a lie all along, wasn't it? The truth is, you were the one Kay saw in the coat, pretending to be the Yatagarasu, and you were the one she chased after. As you tried to lose her, you ran into Mr. Kochin's office and headed for the fireplace. Then you shed your coat in the next room, leaving it there to emerge as Agent Sheena. After that, you came back around to place Kay under arrest. Does that sound almost right? If not, then speak now or forever hold your peace. How dare you make Kay look like the bad guy when you're the suspicious one, pal? Sheena? But that laugh. It's her. I remember this irritating laugh. I'm getting chills down my spine. It can't be, but it has to be. Sheena, what's wrong with you? I'm sorry. It was so funny that I couldn't help but laugh. Funny, you say? Yes, that you would accuse me of being the Yatagarasu. The prosecutors of this country really are all so very strange. Do you think you can get away with that by simply laughing it off? You think I'm taking things too lightly? I think not. It's that prosecutor who is. Look, everything you said earlier is nothing more than mere speculation. The Yatagarasu fled through the fireplace. Do you have any proof to back up your claims? If you don't, then you haven't proven a thing regarding the Yatagarasu's escape route. The tone of voice you're taking with me now has certainly changed. That's because it's been a while since I've had this much fun. I think I'll let loose, and then we can have a real battle of wits. For an agent of Interpol to show me the true power of her mind is a great honor. Don't underestimate me. I'm not some foolish broad, you know. I know. And that is why I won't hold anything back either, as I answer your question. My question. Here is your proof that the revolving fireplace wall in Babal was used recently. Is it his alibi? Spilled ink onto back wall and burned files in fireplace. Left the ashes there. Fireplace itself? There are signs that it had been used. It's one of them, I think. Let's try his testimony. I'm sorry, but is this really your honest answer to my question? Yes. According to Ambassador Poleno's testimony, he said that he was burning some documents in the fireplace with Mr. Kochin. Oh, was he now? The ashes of what they burned were left in the fireplace, so they should have been there. However, when we went to investigate the room, the ashes weren't there. Why is that a problem? Maybe someone cleaned them up. Unfortunately for you, Ambassador Poleno said that he forgot to. And so the question remains, where were the ashes missing? The answer is simple. When the Yatagarasu went through the fireplace wall, the ashes were pushed into the next room by the wall as well. The movement of the ashes that were in Mr. Kochin's office is my proof. And just what is so funny? Ash's proof. Are you even allowed to submit such flaky evidence in court? You still wish to fight us? Of course. Why wouldn't I? In that case, let's hear your counter-argument. My counter-argument, huh? This really is just like being in court. Well, to me, we're simply continuing from where we left off all those years ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. It doesn't matter if we're at a crime scene or a court. Let's finish this here and now. I suppose. I've had a lot of fun today, but I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. In my eyes, all you've proven is that the rotating fireplace wall was used. But you can't really call that proof that the Yatagarasu used the fireplace now, can you? So then, who was it that used the rotating wall? Show me your answer with real evidence. Remember, we've already finished our very thorough investigation. And we found out a single suspicious thing in Mr. Cochin's office. And there you have it, my counter-argument. Ugh. That's very impressive. She has seen through to that fact that I have yet to gather that one piece of evidence. What is it, Kay? I haven't heard a peep out of you in quite a while now. If you don't think you can handle it, feel free to leave the rest of it to us. But Kay, pull yourself together. You are the true heir to the Yatagarasu name, are you not? If you want to steal the truth, then you must never take your eyes off of it. This case you're running to catch the truth. You must see it through to the very end. Mr. Edgeworth! You're right, I will see this through to the end. So, you go get her for me, Mr. Edgeworth, okay? With pleasure. Looks like the lack of evidence has left you with wide open, doesn't it? Sheena! Please, show me you're someone I can trust. Don't worry, this will be the deciding match. You'll see. I'm truly sorry, Agent Lang, but I simply can't allow her to escape me again. Very well then, Agent Sheena. Shall we begin? I'm ready whenever you are. Probably the last rebuttal of this round, so we'll get going into it. Let's get her! Not the last statement, I think. Ready for investigation, and we found not a single suspicious thing. Okay. Let's use the wire now. Yep, that was it. Pretty simple. Well, you say that you and your agents have finished your thorough investigation. Are you absolutely certain that you didn't overlook anything? Well, aren't we full of ourselves, standing there insulting Interpol agents? You'd better not be insinuating that my men are incompetent, Mr. Prosecutor. I'd never do that, however. It doesn't change the fact that they did overlook something. I'd like for you to take a look at this length of wire. What exactly is this supposed to mean? What exactly is this supposed to mean? A length of wire, so what about it? I'll tell you what. We found it in the Babali's embassy not long ago. What? And we found it wound up inside the grandfather clock in Mr. Cochin's office. You found that at the scene of Mr. Cochin's murder? But this wire wasn't all we found. We found one other very important thing. There's more. In Mr. Cochin's office, there were signs that someone had burned counterfeit bills there. What in the... Ah! Hold it. That evidence was something you found out through that girl's machine, right? So what if it was? That's what I thought. But unfortunately for you, a recreation made by a machine is hardly concrete proof. Among the ashes you found in the room, did you happen to find any counterfeit bills? No. You see, so there was nothing in that office, nothing you can call evidence anyway. I'm sorry, but I seem to have given you the wrong impression. How so? I don't recall saying that I was presenting evidence of any sort, but rather I was pointing out that your investigation was incomplete, and that this throws doubt on the purity of your investigation into the Yatagarasu. You still suspect me, I see. Alright then, I ask that you point out what part of my investigation is incomplete. The other Interpol agents worked under the command of Agent Shina. Is it not possible that the reason the person K was chasing chose the third floor was because that person knew there would be no other agents on that floor? Furthermore, we've come to see that Agent Shina was only pretending to be investigating the Yatagarasu to the point of arresting K. In that case, there is one location that no one has yet to inspect. Your team's investigation was incomplete because they failed to inspect this location. Why, it's the neighboring room, of course. The location Agent Shina is, of course, the room you claim to have examined. I believe the room next to Mr. Cochin's office warrants a thorough investigation. Even if you do that, I doubt you'll find anything of use to you there. I will be the one to decide that. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. I'm on it. I'll be right back after I check out that room next to the office, sir. Here I go. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you really think that Miss Shina is the Yatagarasu? Yes, if my logic is sound, I believe she is. But I'm not going to let her get away with ruining the name of the Yatagarasu. But can you prove she's the Yatagarasu is the question. If Detective Gumshoe can find what I'm hoping he will find, then I should be able to, yes. And just what are you hoping he'll find? Let's just say this. I had Detective Gumshoe do a little experiment for me earlier. An experiment? As if the detective has the brains for high science. It wasn't that mentally taxing. I had him use the same escape route as the Yatagarasu. And what did you find out by doing that? First, that it's possible for a person to fit through the revolving wall door. Second, that by going through there, his coat was covered in ash and Babali's ink. Who cares what his coat was covered in? It's not worth that much anyway. But is it really worth so little? I believe that it's actually quite a meaningful result, the value of which I'm about to prove. Mr. Edgeworth! I found some things you really need to see, sir! Oh, so what are these things that you found, Detective? Some makeup, a coat, and a pair of shoes, sir. You found a coat? You hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? Maybe it's the one the person I was chasing was wearing. Yes, the possibility does exist. Agent Shina, were these pieces of evidence not in that room when you examined it? Unfortunately for you, those aren't suspicious items of any sort. They all belong to me. They were getting in the way, so I stored them in that room. Oh. Thank you for bringing them for me. Thank you for bringing them for me. It saves me a trip. May I have them back now? These items that the detective brought back are incredibly significant. I request that you be allowed to examine them. They're my personal belongings, so you have no right to touch them without my permission. I wish to examine them for the sake of the investigation. But if you wish to deny us access to them, Agent Lang, let's hear your opinion on this. I say let them look at your stuff, Sheena. Lang! Sheena, let's put it all out in the open. If you're really innocent, then you have nothing to worry about, right? I guess so. Alright. Go ahead and examine whatever you'd like. After all, I have nothing to hide. Good. Now let us begin. So which of Agent Sheena's belongings are you going to examine first, sir? I think you'll know the answer to that. Shall be the coat. Let's examine the coat. Yes, sir. It appears you managed to stain your coat rather badly. Agent Sheena. The Yatagarasu that Kay saw was wearing a coat, and I'm beginning to wonder if the stain wasn't created when you went through the fireplace. Aha. No, you have it wrong. That soot probably got on my coat when I was helping the police put out the fire. What about the dark substance around the hem of your coat? Oh, I didn't realize that the hem was that dirty. I'm sure it's just some water mixed with soot from when I was helping put out the fires. I don't think so. You think you can get away with such a transparent lie? Yeah, don't lie to us, pal. This is the same pattern of dirt that got on my coat when I went through the fireplace. Your words ring hollow in the absence of evidence, you know. So unless you can prove that the dirt on my coat is from the fireplace, which I can, what? How? You did a great job, Detective Gumshoe. Huh? Me, sir? What did I do? This coat. This is exactly the piece of evidence I was searching for. I've been hoping to find the coat that the person Kay saw was wearing. And thanks to you, we proved that going through the fireplace would sully a coat. I don't quite get what you're saying, but I'm happy for the praise, sir. All that remains is for us to show what the dark substance on the coat hem is. Oh, and you think you can do that? Of course I can. This is the dark substance that sullied the hem of this coat. Where is the ink? There it is. Babali's ink? Yes, this is what will prove that the coat went through that fireplace. According to Ambassador Poleno, he burned some files in the fireplace this morning. You told us about that already, so I don't really see the point in mentioning it again. My point is that he spilled some ink onto the back wall of the fireplace at that time. If the dark substance on the coat turns out to be Babali's ink, it would prove that you and this coat went through the revolving fireplace wall. Duh! Sorry to clip one of your wings, Yatagarasu, but we're not finished yet. But you have no way of proving whether or not this is Babali's ink on the coat hem. Oh, but I do. And I intend to show that it is ink in a few seconds. How? How, you ask? Well, since you don't seem to know, allow me to show you. This is how I will prove that the dark substance on the coat is Babali's ink. We're gonna burn the coat! You can find out whether this is Babali's ink or not by lighting it on fire. That's how you're going to prove that it's Babali's ink? Yes. If you could please cut a section of the dark stained area for me, I'll appreciate it. Because I will show you here and now what the dark substance is. Sheena! sorry to do this, but I'm going to have to cut off a bit of your coat. Go ahead. I wasn't planning to wear it anymore anyway. Now then, if someone could loan me a lighter or something. Oh, I've got some matches. I always carry them with me so I can light smoke bombs. Then if I could please have one, Kay, we can get this experiment underway. And it burns green. The flame! It's the same color as the flame wood crystal oil produces, which means Pabaldi's ink is a product of wood crystal oil, and when lit, the ink produces a green flame. I believe the time has come to clip the Yatagarasu's other wing. Miss Sheena, you're the fake Yatagarasu! The one who killed my father! It's about time you came clean, Agent Sheena, or should I say, Callisto you. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, you're not serious, are you? Do I look like the joking type to you, Lang? Callisto you. I've never heard that name before in my life. Is that manner of speaking and that attitude? You haven't changed a bit in 7 years. You're the defense attorney that killed Mr. Faraday and then tried to frame me for it. Oh, really? And you have proof? You insist that I'm this Callisto you woman, but you can't prove it, can you? If you have no proof, then I'm afraid you won't be able to lay a single finger on me. The raven is a very unique bird, one that flies by the darkness of night. However, the light of dawn has arrived, and it will reveal your true ugly form to the world. Enough poetry. I want to see some evidence. Do you really have some things that can prove that she is Callisto you? I do. It's something that the second Yatagarasu has preserved for us these last 7 years. Do me the honor, Mr. Edgeworth. I will, Kay, for we have finally come to the end. What proves her to be Callisto you with this, and clip the Yatagarasu's wings for good. Perfume bottle. This perfume. This will prove you to be Callisto you. It will. Kay has preserved it perfectly for us. Surely you remember this bottle. This belonged to Miss Yu just before she disappeared 7 years ago. Naturally, this means that a few of her fingerprints are on here as well. This is that bottle of perfume you spilled, which I have preserved ever since. I heard from my father, Baron Faraday, that if stored under the right conditions, a fingerprint can be preserved for decades. Which means that your fingerprints are still on here, every last one. We can clear everything up if we were to compare the prints on this to your own. Now come, Agent Sheena. Will you submit yourself to a fingerprint test? Just keeps laughing and laughing and laughing. I'm not going to do that long of a laugh. But yeah, we've got her! Haha! It looks like you've seen right through me yet again. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine, Edgeworth. Callisto, you. So you've shown your true face at last. This feeling of thrill, it's even greater than that time 7 years ago. Sheena, you're... Lang, I really enjoyed our days together. You're an insanely strong, nice, kind-hearted idiot of a man. So you were a spy all along. A mole sent by the smuggling ring I've been chasing after. Someone who's been feeding them intel on Interpol all this time. Very good. Maybe you're not as big of an idiot as I thought. Callisto, you, the woman who killed my father 7 years ago. You're her, aren't you? The fake Yatagarasu. That's right. Callisto you was just one of my many names. But even that is just a facade. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the great thief Yatagarasu. Callisto, you. This time you won't escape, for this is the end of the road for you. Now come along quietly. You know, you're the one who left the strongest impression on me, Kay Faraday. And had you not used the Yatagarasu's gadgets, I might have never known who you were. But here you are, being a thorn in my side, just like your father always was. Okay, don't. You! I'll never forgive you for what you did to my father! You really are just like him. Mr. Faraday, too, possess such laughable honesty. Kay, no! Kay! You let her go right now, pal! You despicable! Let go of me, you filthy... You think I'm a fake, don't you? Well, unfortunately for you, I'm the real Yatagarasu. But that's impossible! My father was the one who created Little Thief! Hey, Edgeworth. The Yatagarasu has 3 legs. Do you know why that is? Why it has 3 legs? There are 3 main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be 1 step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. No, it can't be. Did you finally figure it out? Do you finally know the real identity of the Yatagarasu? The real identity of the Yatagarasu is neither person. The real identity of the Yatagarasu is neither Burn Faraday nor Callisto U. But by the same token, they are also both the real Yatagarasu. How very perceptive of you. No way! The single person known as the Great Thief Yatagarasu never existed. Mr. Edgeworth! I refuse to believe this! The Yatagarasu is known to have 3 special skills. Skill number 1. The Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. And a lawyer would have the opportunity to learn the layout of client corporations. Skill number 2. The Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. And a good prosecutor would be well versed in the ways of a criminal. And skill number 3. The Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. It is Uncle Bad! Detective Bad. It was only natural for the Yatagarasu to never leave evidence behind. Because the lead detective on the case hid it all away. You're the 3rd member of the Yatagarasu? You. I've been looking for you a long time. 7 long years, but I finally got you. Why, Mr. Bad, long time no see. What happened to us? We used to be such a great team. If you were such a great team, then why did you kill my father 7 years ago? Why, indeed. It was nothing personal, really. He was just another person I had to kill. How can you say that? I grow weary of this, and it's about time for everything to come to an end. And this time I won't miss. Stop! You! Kay! It's over, Sheena! Oh yeah, go Lang. He's protecting her. Your leg! Nice one, Lang. Agent Lang. You idiot! What were you thinking, jumping in front of my gun like that? What are you risking your life for? I'm sorry, Detective Bad, but no matter what sort of past she may have had, or even if she is a spy, it doesn't change the fact that she is my subordinate. And as long as she is, I can't allow any harm to come to her, not even from you. You really are an idiot, you know that? That's fine with me. You should know by now that this is just how I am. Hey, sis. Yes? I want you to conduct a full body search. Sheena might have another weapon on her. All right. Detective Gumshoe, your assistance, please. Sir. Hey, I found something. What is this, sir? It looks like the blade of a knife, but it doesn't have a handle. This is a great find, Detective. Huh? It is, sir. Let's try pairing up this blade with this handle. Do I have a handle? I have that knife. Here's the handle. I believe this blade actually belongs with the handle that was on the murder weapon. Hey, they fit together perfectly! This blade must have been taken from the crime scene when the knife handles were switched. We're gonna go return this to Bali's knife now. Alright. I trust that you'll make sure that it is returned to Ambassador Pleno. Bali's knife handle given to Detective Gumshoe. I believe this makes it perfectly clear who did it, Callisto Yu. For the only time the handles could have been switched is just after Mr. Cochin's murder. Which means that you must be Mr. Cochin's killer. You killed Mr. Cochin with the alabaster knife. Switched the handles and then took the original blade of the Babali's knife with you. Later, you allowed yourself to be spotted by Kay near the open-air stage. You used the fireplace to lose her, and then you went back to accuse her of the murder. Does that about sum it up? You craft an engaging tale, Edgeworth, but there are two problems with it. Problems? In what respect? Why do you think my real reason was in allowing her to chase after me? It was all so I could capture Kay Faraday. What? When I saw you using that device at Gate Waterland, I knew right away that you were Byrne Faraday's daughter. I became curious, so I researched a little into your background. That's how I found out that you were on the trails of Yatagarasu. So that's why you tried to pin Mr. Cochin's murder on me? Yes. I knew you would show up at this embassy tonight. So I fought to use you, but pinning the murder on you wasn't my only goal. You had another? Yes. Once I had you under arrest, I had planned to search you and take back the device that rightfully belongs to me, the true Yatagarasu. You were going to take little Fief away from me? No way! 7 years ago, it was thanks to that device that Faraday was able to infiltrate this place. But he stole more than he should have. I had a tough time recovering that precious key. When the person who stole the Yatagarasu's key was Mr. Faraday. That incident 7 years ago, what was the catalyst behind it? In the eyes of the smuggling ring, the Yatagarasu was becoming a bit of a problem. It wasn't an especially pleasant assignment. Then why? Why did you become a member of the Yatagarasu? Why? There is no why. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. From the beginning? What is that supposed to mean? The person I take orders from hasn't changed, even now to this day. Who might that be? Does this mean that the leader of the smuggling ring wasn't Mr. Cochin? Then the real ringleader is still out there, pulling the strings. Are you done asking what you need to know? Because if so, we should probably get going. And you're going to tell me everything you did tonight. Do you understand, Sheena? I guess I should tell you then. But I was the one who set the Babali's embassy on fire. And why did you do that? I suppose it was to destroy all evidence of the counterfeit bills. That was what the smuggling ring was trying to do? But then, why start 2 fires? Sorry, but I can't tell you anything about the ring. It's your job to complete your investigation, after all. I've had my fun. Now it's your turn to enjoy the ride. And looks like they're about off. Wait, I mean, Miss Sheena. Yes? When I fell to the floor earlier, these fell at my feet. What about them? They're such pretty hair sticks that I thought, well, that I should return them to you. You can have them. They're of no use to me anymore. If you don't want them, you can always just throw them away. No, I want to keep them. Suit yourself. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot, Edgeworth. But the second problem I had was your story. I didn't kill anyone tonight. What? I'm not saying that as a sore loser. Think of it as a hint, if you will. Mr. Prosecutor. Yes, Agent Lang? Mark my words, I'm not done here, and I'll be back. And it's got nothing to do with duty or anything, because this has become my personal case. I may have been shot, but I'll show you just how dangerous a wounded wolf can be. His anger appears to have negated the sensation of pain in his injured leg. Off they go. It's finally over, Kay. I feel like I've peered into her heart a little, you know? And it's so cold and dark and incredibly lonely. The person who was giving her all those commands. The one who thought my father was a problem to be removed. That person is the real ringleader behind the smuggling ring. Mr. Edgeworth, I have a favor to ask. Can you hold on to these hair sticks for me? They're really pretty, just like the ones they were selling for the Jammin' Ninja show. But until this case is over, I don't think I can look at them without being overcome. I understand. I'll take good care of them for you. There's a bit of soil stuck on the ends of these sticks. Hair sticks jotted down in the organizer. Oh, I guess it's that time already, huh? So it's midnight, the dawn of another day. Hey, Pops, thanks a bunch. You've really done a lot for everyone all these years. Detective Bad, don't tell me today is the day. Yeah, it is. With this, I can retire in peace. It was down to the wire, and we almost didn't make it. But we did it. We solved everything. But that's just it. We haven't solved everything yet. The ringleader of the smuggling ring, the Yatagarasu we're chasing after. The legend of that Yatagarasu is now over. Mr. Edgeworth, that bit of logic earlier, it was brilliant. I feel like I can leave it all in your hands. I'm counting on you. Is it really true, Uncle Bad? Were you also a part of the Yatagarasu? As I said to you earlier, Kay, I'm truly sorry. I wanted nothing but a peaceful life for you. Uncle Bad! Hey, don't take it so seriously. It's all just one big joke, right? Unfortunately, it isn't. Oh, come on, sir. She's just yanking on my chain, isn't she, Mr. Edgeworth? Detective Bad. Wait, no. You are no longer a detective. Mr. Bad, I'd like to ask you about the Yatagarasu. Oh, you too, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth. Here, I should give these back to you. These are the pages from my KG-8 case files that the Yatagarasu stole from my office. Oh, wait, what? Mr. Edgeworth, I must apologize for last night. It was bad. So the Yatagarasu who stole into my room was you, was it? Wait, then that means what? To tell me it's not true. That's too insane for me to believe, sir. It's true, even if it's not something you want to hear. The KG-8 incident is a very emotionally trying case. We stood in that courtroom, Faraday as the prosecutor, and I as the lead detective. Faraday had evidence in his possession that would prove the defendant guilty. However, because it was stolen, the defendant was found innocent. You was the elder sister of the victim in that case. When the defendant was pronounced not guilty, she let out a great wail. That's when we realized that there was a limit to what the law could do. The only way to bring someone like that in to justice was to go outside of the courts. That's what we fought at the time. That's how we formed the Yatagarasu, and vowed to bring to light any dirty dealings companies had with the ring, including companies that dealt with the Amano group, Mr. Amano's conglomerate. We called ourselves the Yatagarasu, and flexed our collective muscle. We exposed all sorts of shady dealings as a warning to the business world as a whole. By doing that, we were able to stop the higher-ups from covering things up. And then it was finally time. We had finally arrived at the moment when we'd find out the ringleader's true identity. It was then that you literally stabbed us in the heart. And Faraday, he died for it. But why? Wasn't she the sister of the victim in the KG-8 incident? After Faraday's death, I looked into her past. And that's when I found out that she was a phony. The victim of the KG-8 incident, CCU, she never had a sister. What? Then that means Sheena wasn't the only fake name she used. Callisto U was also another pseudonym. From the very beginning, that woman was a spy sent by the smuggling ring. She said it herself, I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. Anyway, let's return to the real topic at hand. Mr. Edgeworth, this trump card that we stuck onto the page of the case file. Please use it wisely. Trump card. That photo that we stuck on there, try peeling it off. Behind it slumbers a piece of evidence that Faraday hid away all those years ago. It's the mark of the Yatagarasu, but why? This is a directives card from the big boss. Take a look at the back. This was something Kochin had on him at the time of the KG-8 incident 10 years ago. It's in weird writing. That blood is from the victim of the incident, Miss CCU. But why is the card adorned with the mark of the Yatagarasu? The reason why we called ourselves the Yatagarasu was because of the three-legged raven mark that the smuggling ring's boss used. Apparently orders from the boss would come on these cards without fail. The person who received the order was supposed to burn it immediately after reading it. And apparently it burns a bright green flame when set ablaze. So you mean the cards were written in Mabali's ink? The fact that the card that Kochin was sent made it into Faraday's hands at all is nothing short of a miracle. we decided that whenever we stole anything, we would send a card along with it to the police. So that's what those white cards are. The great thief that used the mark, that only those within the ring would know. It was our message to the ringleader that we were only a few steps behind. Trump card jotted down. And one more thing, Detective Gumshoe. I'm entrusting this to you. What is this, sir? This is what I was talking about earlier. During the KG8 incident trial, Faraday had this in his possession. This important definitive piece of evidence. But I thought it was stolen. How do you have it? The person who stole it from us 10 years ago was a man by the name of Ernest Amano. And he had it locked and hidden away for all this time. But we forced him to tell us where it was finally, after the other day's kidnapping case. Videotape jotted down. This video. What? Don't come any closer, I'm warning you! This is the same video as the one Mr. Portsman was trying to conceal from me. Yeah, it would seem that even he was caught up in the ring's web. Amano was preparing to take on the boss someday. And the video was his insurance. That's where that prosecutor comes in. He was to retrieve the video. On top of that, he was apparently instructed to sneak into your office and steal the trump card. You saw it for yourself, right? The card that told him to preserve the evidence. Then that card was not the calling card of the Yatagarasu, but rather a directive card from the ringleader to Mr. Portsman. The two pieces together make for a strong weapon for whoever holds them. The evidence Mr. Portsman fought to withhold from me, and the one that you stole from my office last night. Both pieces are illegal, and for me to use either one is, whether you use them or not is up to you. But they will be of help to you when you take on someone who is above the law. Is the boss one of those who cannot be brought to court that Mr. Faraday spoke of? Detective Bad. There is no limit to the law, for it is the people who would determine the limits to them. You still insist that, even now, you really are something else. I leave the rest in your hands, Edgeworth. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, the handcuffs. It's time to lock up the last remaining member of the Yatagarasu. Bubs! No! Don't ever lose your detective spirit. Pops, why is this happening? This isn't justice! Like I always told you, do not get emotionally involved. Now let's go. Yes, sir. Aw, Detective Bad. Oh, he's such a good character. It's a shame he's only in this one game, because he was such a cool character. Is this really the end of a legend? Yep, apparently. To be continued. I guess that's all for this part of the case. I'm your host, Kayla Hiwatari. Please like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, and next time we'll keep going with this final case of the game. I'll see you then.